start creating dialogue and
See, the volume was too high.
Actually, the volume at our end was too high. Now it's medium, so we can continue.
okay, so we're okay now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you guys did a great job creating your characters. So everybody did a really good job of that. Congratulations. So tonight we're going to talk about the next step in making your story better. Okay? So there are a few things that all of you can improve upon, and we're going to talk about a simple way of doing that tonight. So every story can be broken down into 5 sections. I'm going to tell you those 5 sections. The first section is an introduction. In the introduction, you get to meet the main character.
Okay, sir, just a minute. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Children, did you understand what is he saying? Okay, he's saying that he has read your stories and he's really happy reading your stories. And today he's going to brief you how to make your story better. Okay? So he's saying that you have to break your story into 5 sections. Now, are we aware of those 5 sections? No? Okay, so I will tell you about it now.
Okay, the first section is the introduction, and that's where you meet the main character. So it's the first scene in your story where you get to meet who your main character is and what they're doing at that time. Okay? The second section is where you introduce us to the problem. You introduce us to the conflict in the challenge that your character has to face. The third section is where the action of the story gets more and more intense and scary.
Okay, did you get
The
it?
fourth.
Did you get what sir is saying? The first section is the introduction part of your story where you are introducing your story to the reader. The second section is the problem of your story, the challenge that your character is facing in the story. And the third section is where you're making your story more interesting for the reader to read the actual description of your story.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. Yes, sir.
So those are the first 3 sections. The fourth section is the climax of the story. So where the final challenge for your character to overcome the problem. Okay? And finally, the last section is the resolution, where everything comes back down into normal, where the character learns his lesson and goes on with his life or her life. Okay?
Okay, did you get all the 5 sections? Okay. The fourth section is the climax of the story. Now we know what is climax, right? What is climax? Adi?
Climax is that in Surat there is not climax.
End of the story.
Where the earthquake.
Don't relate it to climax. Climax.
Climax is where the character has to face
Okay, climax is the part where your character comes to a solution of the story. We have done it, right? And the last one that third one is resolution, where your character learns a lesson, the moral of the story. Clear, everyone? Okay.
Okay? So perfect. So every story has those 5 sections. Introduction, the problem, the rising action, increasing level of action, the climax, and the resolution. So what each of you should do now is go back to your stories, identify where those sections are in your story.
Okay, now I hope you all have logged into your account. Okay. Okay. Okay, who has not logged into your account? And rest of the children, have you logged in? Is your story open on your Chromebook? So now what is Sir saying? Go through your story and identify those 5 sections in your story. The introduction. What was the second one? The challenge, the problem, the entire description, the climax, and the last one? Resolution. Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So find where those 5 different sections are in your story.
Go through your story and find those sections in your story. Okay, go through your story, everyone. In your Chromebooks. Oh. Are you able to identify the 5 sections? Are you able to identify? Yes. Everyone? Yes. Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Maybe you can highlight. Okay. All right.
Just go through it and keep in your mind the lines that belong to the particular section. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So some of you in your stories jumble these sections up. Okay. So sometimes you went all the way to the climax of the story right in the very beginning. So you want to make sure your story follows the order of those 5 sections.
Now, at times it happens that when you're writing your story, the story is not in the appropriate sequence. It's being jumbled up, right? Right? So you need to find out where it is in your story that you have written. Clear? Okay. Tanisha, you have written your story. Okay. Sir told you to find out the 5 sections, those are there. Now, at times when we write the story, we don't keep the sequence in our mind, right? The 5 steps that are there, the 5 sections. We write a jumbled up story. So don't get hassled because of it. Just find out the sections in your story. Okay? Yes, Divya.
Okay. So when you go back to edit your story, keep those sections in mind. All right? Identify where those 5 sections are in your story. And then make sure you add dialogue and description sections. So each of you added some in your story, but every one of those sections should have description in dialogue. Okay?
Okay? Yes, I am. Okay, fine. What is Sir saying? When we edit our story, make sure that you're doing editing as per the 5 sections of a story and you're adding dialogue and description in each section. Clear, everyone? Okay, yes, sir.
So this is very important because it'll make your story consistent across the whole story. So if you only have dialogue in one section, your story won't sound right. Or if you only have description in one section, it won't sound right. So every section should have dialogue and description in it. Okay?
Okay. What the stories that we people have written, does every section in the story has a dialogue? No. But we got to learn it today that every section should have a dialogue in order to make the story interesting. Okay.
Correct. So are you finding the sections in your story?
Are you able to find out the sections written in your story? Yes. Okay, Tanisha, I'll come to you. Yes. Rest of the children, are you able to find out the sections? Okay, sir. They can locate the sections in their story.